Hello and good day, Welcome to the Super Good Camping Podcast. My name is Pamela.
I'm Tim.
And we are from supergoodcamping.com. We are here because we are on a mission to inspire other families to enjoy camping adventures such as we have with our kids. Today we wanted to talk about going camping in the fall, some of the advantages, maybe some of the disadvantages, and some of the cool things you can check out while you're camping in the fall.
All right. Well, a couple of things that are high on Pamela's list would be the lack of bugs. Most of them have died off by now, or they're considerably lessened. And being that she's a redhead, less sunburn because there's less hours of sun.
Not so intense sun either, so we can kind of, few hours of although few hours of daylight also means that less time to do outdoor activities. You have to also plan your schedule for when you want to be arriving at your campsite. It's not necessarily going to be as late as it might be in the summer months.
Right.
And one of the other cool things you can enjoy, depending on where you're camping, a lot of local areas will have fall festivals. So if you happen to be camping somewhere close to an Oktoberfest, you can take in the Oktoberfest, you can take in the Thanksgiving harvest festivals. All that's just fun. You can pick up some local produce, you can sample some local beers for Oktoberfest, and just kind of, get out of the campground maybe for a little bit and go do something else.
Right, and there's a lot of people that go and celebrate Halloween, certainly in Ontario parks, at least the ones that continue to remain open, and that always looks like a ton of fun. Looks like they're having a hoot.
Yeah, I know Bronte encourages people to decorate their campsite for Halloween.
There you go. One of the other wonderful things, it doesn't really apply to Ontario parks per se, but I believe that some of the private campgrounds have reduced rates in the fall while they just sort of stretch out their season a little bit. And
because the nights tend to be somewhat clear often in the fall, you can often see more stars. We were at a cottage last week before, and just amazing to see the night sky and how many more stars there appears to be when you're there. But you can see other things besides the stars. You can see things like the Milky Way even, depending on where you are and how clear the night is. Meteor showers, and Tim enjoys even just spotting things like the ISS going over and the meteors. Or not the meteors, the
Musk's satellites going by.
Satellites. We're all like, ho-hum, it's another satellite. And Tim's like, look, there's another satellite.
I think it's cool. There's stuff in the sky that's not falling on my head. Campfires are I don't know, that much better in the fall because it's cool. Temperatures are down a little bit, so you get to cozy up to a campfire and not be all doing it just so you can smell smoky but be sweaty in the middle of the summer.
Yeah. That, and just you appreciate the warmth from the fire that much more. You appreciate that your warm drink beside the fire that much more. Wildlife viewing, because that time of year wildlife can be a bit more active as they're getting ready for potentially hibernating or getting ready for winter. They may be more active feeding. The downside to that potentially could be also like bears may be a bit more active in foraging for food and trying to store up some extra fat for the winter. So just be mindful of that and be careful with your food routines as to making sure you're not attracting wildlife. But even wildlife like deer, elk, moose, and migratory birds that happen to be on their way south for the winter, you may be able to get a chance to see a lot more of that than usual.
Yeah, on the bear note, if you're backcountry or even you're just out, doing a bit of crown land and fishing in particular, don't clean the fish on your site. Go clean them on somebody else's site. Just saying.
And fewer crowds. So if you're not a big fan of lots of people being like right in your campsite next door,
that'd be me.
It might be a good time to go camping because if you're people just generally, things might be a bit more quiet and peaceful in terms of your camping experience.
Yep, absolutely. With the fewer crowds, just to throw in sort of maybe a bit of a negative, double check depending on where you're going, especially again with Ontario parks, but even state parks south of the border. Check that that they're open. I know up here not a lot. There are a decent number of them that start closing down after the Labor Day weekend. There simply aren't the crowds to warrant staying open anymore. And it becomes very challenging to keep other amenities open as well, whether it's if they've got a swimming pool or whatever. It just saying, check before you plan to go.
Well, I suppose along those lines too, if you're considering a backcountry trip and maybe you're a little bit newer at it, fewer crowds might not be such a good thing if you fall into some trouble and you need some help, that you haven't got as many people around that might be able to give you a hand.
Right. So go listen to our satellite communicator episode, because that's what you want out there with you. Just saying.
And plan. Make sure that you plan ahead, know what you're getting into, weather-wise, but also just in terms of where you're going and where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. And
so weather is, for me, I start sweating in around March break, and somewhere in late October, maybe November, I switch out of shorts. One of the things I like about fall camping is the milder weather. It's cooler. It can get pretty crisp at night sometimes, but as a whole, especially with ticks and stuff, it's not a terrible inconvenience to be wearing pants, to take a hoodie with you on top of that t-shirt at night, that sort of deal. I'm good with that. The fall temperatures, so Thomas and I are about to do an 8-day in Queen Elizabeth II coming up towards the end of September here, and then I think we're home for 4 days. Then we're heading back out for another 3-day, and our usual fall trip into Kawartha Highlands. And I'm not adverse to that being when I get most of my backcountry tripping in.
And just another thing to consider is that if you really love water sports and swimming and things, they may not be accessible to you in a fall or shoulder season trip, just because water temperatures are colder, or anticipate that and make sure you've got a wetsuit or something like that where you can enjoy the water but have suitable attire.
Yeah, absolutely. So wetsuits, if you want to get some strokes in, think about. Well, I just talked about hoodies and pants. Think about your gear. So we have, 3 different types of sleeping bags for different conditions. We take a heavier bag when we're doing our fall trips, just because it does drop down. Some nights will actually drop below zero. What's that for you? So 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 Celsius. If you're taking heavier boots, you're taking heavier socks. Think that sort of stuff.
Well, and I'll leave the crowning glory.
Well, so the win for the fall is the stunning colors. Depending on when you go and where you go, there's a limited window where it's at its peak, but the foliage, everything's changing. All the colors are coming out. For me, I probably take about twice as many pictures on a given trip in the fall as I do at any other time, and I take a lot of pictures. So. And just to, again, Thomas and I tend to do our backcountry stuff towards late September, early October, and it's so stunning to see the beauty of nature while you're paddling through a quiet lake, because there's nobody around, because everybody's back in school and has gone back to the city or whatever. It's pretty cool stuff.
Well, the other thing that you've noted in the past with that is just been hunters have been around, so you want to be aware of that also.
Yeah. So again, we check where hunting is okay and where it's not. Unfortunately, we have a tendency to pick places that hunting is allowed. Usually not terrible. It's usually only on the weekend, and it's usually that first, sort of 6:30 to 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning that you hear anything going off, and usually not too close to us, because that first year when I didn't know it was happening scared the crap out of me. Take lots of orange hats, lots of orange vests, lots of orange stuff, period, if you're in hunting land.
Hunting land sounds like Canada's Wonderland, but different.
No.
Yeah. So that's it for us for today, I think, for camping in the fall. Just some things to look out for, some pros, some cons, mostly pros. So we hope you get out there and enjoy some fall camping. If you do, reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. Our email address is hi@supergoodcamping.com. That's hi@supergoodcamping.com. And we are on all the social media. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and we have a YouTube channel. We would love if you subscribe to us on YouTube. And look out for some of Tim's video and pictures on both Instagram and YouTube for their fall trip.
And probably on our website too.
Yeah, absolutely. We will talk to you again soon. I'm Pamela.
I'm still Tim.
And we are still from supergoodcamping.com. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Bye.